Is a recall for a popular brand of milk over concerns the inside-out unsweetened almond milk product may be contaminated with botulism.
That almond milk in your coffee contains as little as 2% actual almonds. The rest is water, sugar, and vegetable oils. Independent testing by Choice Australia found that some popular brands contain only 2 to 3 almonds per litre, less than 1 almond per glass. Beyond the low almond content, many brands add synthetic vitamins that research suggests may not be absorbed as effectively as nutrients from whole foods, along with vegetable gums and emulsifiers that studies have linked to digestive inflammation. Today, I'll show you 7 almond milk brands to avoid and 2 better alternatives available at Woolworths and Coles. Let's look at what you're actually buying. Number 1. Vitasoy almond milk. Vitasoy is a plant-based milk brand with Asian heritage, widely available at Australian supermarkets, including Woolworths and Coles. Vitasoy almond milk is positioned as a dairy alternative suitable for lactose intolerance, vegan diets, and health-conscious consumers. The brand benefits from association with Vitasoy's soy milk products, which have established market presence. The ingredient list for Vitasoy almond milk shows filtered water, almonds at 2%, cane sugar, mineral calcium phosphate, sea salt, vegetable gums including gellan gum, and added vitamins B12, B2, and D2. The almond content at 2% is even lower than Sanitarium, meaning a 1 litre carton contains only 20 grams of almonds, approximately 14 to 16 almonds total. At 2% almond content, Vitasoy contains roughly 24 to 36 cents worth of almonds per litre based on retail almond prices. The product retails for $3 to $4 per litre, meaning 90 to 95% of the purchase price is for water, sugar, stabilisers, and synthetic vitamins rather than for almonds. This represents one of the poorest value propositions in the almond milk category. Vitasoy uses cane sugar as a sweetener, with sugar content approximately 3 to 4 grams per 100 milliliters in the original variant. The added sugar creates palatability, but also delivers calories and glycemic load that whole almonds wouldn't provide. For consumers choosing almond milk as a lower calorie or lower carbohydrate alternative to dairy milk, the added sugar partially negates those benefits. The vegetable gums in Vitasoy, including gellan gum, create the texture and prevent separation. The same digestive concerns apply as with Sanitarium, where emerging research suggests these stabilizers may affect gut bacteria balance and intestinal barrier function in ways that weren't fully understood when they were approved for use. Vitasoy adds sea salt to the formulation, while the sodium content is modest at approximately 100 to 120 milligrams per 100 milliliters. This represents added sodium that wouldn't be present in homemade almond milk. The salt enhances flavor, but contributes to overall daily sodium intake that health authorities recommend limiting for cardiovascular health. The vitamin fortification in Vitasoy includes B12, B2, and D2. Vitamin D2 is the plant-derived form of vitamin D, which research suggests is less effectively utilized by the body compared to vitamin D3, the animal-derived form found in dairy milk and produced by sun exposure. The fortification strategy allows Vitasoy to claim nutritional equivalence to dairy milk, but the bioavailability differences mean the nutrients may not be equally beneficial. Vitasoy almond milk retails at Woolworths and Coles for approximately $3 to $4 per litre. The slightly lower price than Sanitarium reflects the even lower almond content, creating a situation where cheaper pricing corresponds to worse value in terms of actual almond content per dollar spent. Number 2. Australia's Own almond milk. Australia's Own is a Freedom Foods brand positioning itself as Australian-made plant-based milk. The brand is available at Woolworths and Coles, with packaging emphasising Australian identity and local production. For consumers preferring Australian-made products, Australia's Own presents itself as supporting local manufacturing. The ingredient list for Australia's Own almond milk shows filtered water, almonds at 2.5%, raw sugar, mineral calcium phosphate, sea salt, vegetable gums including gellan gum and xanthan gum, vegetable oil, and vitamins B12, B2 and E. The almond content matches Sanitarium at 2.5%, meaning minimal actual almond content despite the Australian production credentials. What makes Australia's own particularly noteworthy is the combination of two vegetable gums, gellan gum and xanthan gum, suggesting aggressive stabilisation to maintain texture and prevent separation with minimal almond content. Xanthan gum is produced through bacterial fermentation of sugar, creating a polysaccharide that thickens liquids. While approved for food use, some individuals report digestive sensitivity to xanthan gum, with symptoms including bloating and altered bowel movements. The Australian production that the brand name emphasises doesn't correlate with higher almond content or better ingredient quality. The 2.5% almond content and the vegetable oil, added sugars, and dual stabiliser system indicate production methods comparable to imported brands despite the local manufacturing positioning. Australia's own uses raw sugar, which is minimally processed cane sugar retaining some molasses. This creates marketing appeal as being more natural than white refined sugar, but nutritionally the differences are marginal. The added sugar content is comparable to other sweetened almond milks at approximately 3 to 4 grams per 100 millilitres. The vegetable oil added to Australia's own is typically sunflower oil. This addition compensates for the fat deficiency created by using only 2.5% almonds. The oil creates richness, but the fat profile differs from whole almonds, which contain predominantly monounsaturated fats with specific health benefits. Refined sunflower oil, while not harmful, doesn't replicate the nutritional benefits of almond fats. Australia's own almond milk retails at Woolworths and Coles for approximately $3 to $4 per litre. The Australian-made positioning creates emotional appeal for consumers wanting to support local manufacturing. But the almond content and ingredient profile don't differ meaningfully from imported alternatives, raising questions about whether the Australian production justifies choosing this brand over others at similar prices. Number 3. So Good Almond Milk. So Good is a long-established plant-based milk brand owned by Sanitarium, separate from the Sanitarium-branded almond milk. So Good is available at Woolworths, Coles and independent supermarkets with market presence spanning multiple plant milk categories including soy, almond and oat. The brand benefits from decades of consumer familiarity. The ingredient list for So Good Almond Milk shows water, almonds at 2.5%, raw sugar, mineral calcium phosphate, vegetable gums including gellan gum, sea salt, vegetable oil, and vitamins B12, B2, D, and E. The formula is essentially identical to Sanitarium almond milk, which isn't surprising given both are owned by Sanitarium and likely produced in the same facilities. What makes So Good's positioning interesting is that it represents Sanitarium's budget to mid-range brand, while Sanitarium-branded almond milk is positioned slightly premium. However, the ingredient lists are virtually identical, suggesting the main difference is packaging and brand positioning, rather than substantive formulation differences. Consumers paying more for Sanitarium-branded almond milk compared to So Good are paying for brand perception, rather than better ingredients. So Good contains the same 2.5% almond content as Sanitarium, meaning the same poor value in terms of actual almond content. The added raw sugar, vegetable gums, vegetable oil, and synthetic vitamin fortification create a product that is predominantly water and additives rather than almonds. The vitamin D added to So Good is specified as vitamin D, without clarifying whether it's D2 or D3. Most plant-based milk fortification uses vitamin D2 as it's derived from plant sources. But the lack of clarity on the label means consumers cannot determine which form they're getting. Given that D3 is more bioavailable, this lack of transparency is problematic. So Good almond milk retails at Woolworths and Coles for approximately $3 to $4 per litre, typically slightly cheaper than Sanitarium branded almond milk. The lower price reflects positioning rather than formulation, with essentially identical products sold under different brand names at different price points to capture both budget-conscious and brand-loyal consumers. Number 4. Milk Lab Almond Ishtar Milk. Milk Lab is a barista-focused plant milk brand positioned for coffee shops and home coffee enthusiasts. Milk Lab almond milk is available at Coles and independent retailers, marketed as premium milk designed specifically for coffee compatibility. The barista positioning creates expectations of higher quality and better formulation compared to standard almond milk. The ingredient list for Milk Lab almond milk shows water, almonds at 3.5%, cane sugar, sunflower oil, acidity regulators, vegetable gums including gellan gum, mineral calcium phosphate, and sea salt. The almond content at 3.5% is higher than most mainstream brands, representing approximately 35 grams or 25 to 27 almonds per litre. While better than 2% products, this still means 96.5% of the product is not almonds. What distinguishes Milk Lab is the inclusion of acidity regulators, which are compounds that adjust pH to optimize the milk's behavior in coffee. These typically include dipotassium phosphate or sodium bicarbonate. The pH adjustment prevents curdling when almond milk is added to acidic coffee, creating better texture and appearance in lattes and cappuccinos. While this serves a legitimate technical purpose for coffee use, it represents additional chemical intervention beyond what homemade or simpler almond milks would contain. Milk Lab uses sunflower oil prominently in the formulation, with oil appearing higher in the ingredient list than in some other brands. This creates richer texture and better steaming characteristics for coffee, but means the product contains more refined vegetable oil and proportionally less of its fat from almonds. The barista performance comes partly from oil content rather than from almond richness. The sugar content in Milk Lab is approximately 4 to 5 grams per 100 milliliters, slightly higher than some other almond milks. The added sugar provides sweetness that complements coffee. But for consumers using significant quantities of almond milk in multiple coffees daily, this adds up to meaningful sugar intake that whole almonds wouldn't provide. Milk Lab almond milk retails at Coles and independent retailers for approximately $4.50 to $6 per litre, positioning it as premium almond milk. The barista functionality justifies premium pricing for coffee shop use, where steaming performance and coffee compatibility matter. However, for home consumption outside of coffee context, the premium pricing for 3.5% almond content raises value questions. Number 5. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze. Blue Diamond Almond Breeze is an American almond milk brand imported to Australia, available at Coles and independent retailers. Blue Diamond is actually an almond grower cooperative that owns almond orchards, creating brand positioning around almond expertise and authenticity. The brand suggests superior almond knowledge should translate to better almond milk. The ingredient list for Almond Breeze Original shows filtered water, almonds at 2%, cane sugar, calcium carbonate, sea salt, potassium citrate, sunflower lecithin, gellan gum, and vitamins A, D2, and E. The almond content at 2% is among the lowest in the category, meaning Blue Diamond's almond expertise hasn't translated to higher almond content in their milk product. The irony of an almond grower cooperative producing almond milk with only 2% almonds is striking. At 2%, a litre contains approximately 14 to 16 almonds worth of almond content. Blue Diamond's business model apparently prioritizes profit margins over delivering almond-rich products, using their almond credentials for marketing, while minimizing actual almond use. Almond Breeze contains sunflower lecithin, an emulsifier that helps blend the water, almond particles, and oil into stable mixture. Lecithin is generally recognized as safe, but represents additional processing and an ingredient that homemade almond milk wouldn't require. The lecithin allows stable emulsion with minimal almond content, serving the manufacturer's cost interests. The vitamin fortification includes vitamin A, which is unusual in almond milk fortification. Vitamin A addition creates nutritional profile more similar to dairy milk, which naturally contains vitamin A. However, vitamin A is fat-soluble and properly absorbed with dietary fat. In almond milk with minimal almond content and added refined oil rather than natural almond fats, the vitamin A absorption may not be optimal. Blue Diamond. Almond Breeze retails at Coles for approximately $3.50 to $4.50 per litre. As an imported product, the pricing includes shipping and import costs from the United States. Consumers are paying import premiums for American almond milk with 2% almond content, when Australian-made alternatives with equal or higher almond content are available at comparable prices. Number 6. Coles Almond. Coles Home. Brand almond milk represents the budget option in Coles stores, positioned as the lowest cost almond milk choice. The expectation with home brand products is basic, quality meeting minimum standards at minimum cost. Coles almond milk delivers on this expectation in ways that reveal what manufacturers can produce when cost minimization is the primary goal. The ingredient list shows water, almonds at 2%, sugar, mineral calcium phosphate, vegetable gums including gellan gum and xanthan gum, sea salt, vegetable oil, and vitamins B2, B12 and D. The almond content at 2% means a litre contains approximately 24 to 36 cents worth of almonds, while retailing for $2.50 to $3. The economics make clear that consumers are buying primarily water and additives. Coles almond milk uses refined white sugar rather than raw sugar or cane sugar, reflecting budget formulation where the cheapest ingredient options are selected. The sugar content is approximately 3 to 4 grams per 100 milliliters, comparable to other sweetened almond milks but using the most processed sugar form. The inclusion of both gellan gum and xanthan gum indicates dual stabilizer use to maintain texture with minimal almond content. The combination allows stable emulsion and acceptable mouthfeel despite the product being 98% water and additives. Budget pricing requires minimal costly ingredients, so stabilizers do the work that almond content would otherwise provide. The vegetable oil in Coles almond milk is unspecified, likely being the cheapest refined oil available at time of production. This could be canola, sunflower, or soy oil, depending on commodity pricing. The lack of specificity means consumers don't know what oil they're consuming, and it may vary between production batches. Coles almond milk retails for approximately $2.50 to $3 per litre, making it the cheapest almond milk in most Coles stores. The budget pricing reflects minimal almond content and maximum water and stabilizer use. For consumers choosing based purely on price, the value proposition is poor, paying $2.50 to $3 for water, sugar, and gums with minimal almond content. Number 7. Woolworths almond milk. Woolworths home brand. Almond milk occupies the same market position as Coles almond milk. Budget option with minimal cost and minimal almond content. Woolworths almond milk is positioned as value choice, competing primarily on price rather than on quality or almond content. The ingredient list for Woolworths almond milk shows filtered water, almonds at 2%, sugar, mineral calcium phosphate, vegetable gum 418, sea salt, vegetable oil, and vitamins B2, B12, and D. The almond content matches Coles at 2%, indicating this is the industry standard for budget almond milk. Enough almonds to justify the name, but minimized to reduce costs. Vegetable gum 418 is gellan gum, listed by number rather than name. The use of additive numbers on labels rather than names is permitted under Australian food standards, but creates less transparency for consumers who may not know what 418 represents. The gellan gum serves the same stabilization function as in other brands. Woolworths uses refined white sugar like Coles, reflecting budget formulation. The sugar content is approximately 3 to 4 grams per 100 milliliters. The unsweetened variant of Woolworths almond milk eliminates added sugar but still contains only 2% almonds with the same vegetable gum, oil, and synthetic vitamin additions. The vegetable oil in Woolworths almond milk is unspecified in brand as in Coles, likely being commodity oil selected based on cost. The fat content that this oil provides differs from natural almond fat in composition and potentially in health effects. Though refined vegetable oils are generally considered safe when consumed in moderation. Woolworths almond milk retails for approximately $2.50 to $3 per litre, identical pricing to Coles budget almond milk. The two supermarket giants' home brand almond milks are functionally identical in formulation and pricing, both representing minimal almond content products sold primarily on price point to capture budget-conscious consumers. So, what should you actually be buying? Pure Harvest activated organic almond milk. Pure Harvest is an Australian organic plant milk brand available at Coles stores nationally. Pure Harvest activated organic almond milk retails for approximately $5 to $6 per litre. The organic certification and activated almond process represent the premium end of supermarket almond milk, with ingredient quality and almond content justifying the price for consumers prioritising these factors. Pure Harvest organic almond milk contains filtered water, organic almonds at 8%, organic brown rice, and sea salt. The almond content at 8% means 80 grams of almonds per litre, approximately 56 to 60 almonds, while lower than Inside Out's 10%. This is still 3 to 4 times the almond content of mainstream brands. The organic certification requires that almonds are grown without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. For consumers concerned about glyphosate residues or other agricultural chemical residues in conventional almonds, organic certification addresses these concerns. Organic almonds command premium prices reflecting the higher costs of organic farming, which contributes to the higher retail price of Pure Harvest. The activated almond process involves soaking almonds before processing. Activation is claimed to improve digestibility and nutrient availability by reducing enzyme inhibitors and phytic acid naturally present in raw nuts. The science on activation is debated, with some research supporting improved digestibility, while other studies question whether meaningful nutritional benefits exist. Regardless, the activation process indicates additional production steps beyond standard almond milk manufacturing. Pure Harvest includes organic brown rice in the formula. The rice provides body and subtle sweetness without added sugar, creating texture and flavour complexity that almond and water alone wouldn't deliver. The rice addition means some of the thickness and richness comes from grain rather than purely from almonds, but it avoids the vegetable gums and oils that other brands use for texture. Pure Harvest does not contain added sugar, vegetable gums, or vegetable oils. The absence of stabilisers means the product separates naturally and requires shaking before use. The brown rice provides some stabilisation through starch, but the effect is different from chemical gums. The product is not fortified with synthetic vitamins, so it doesn't provide the calcium, vitamin D, and B vitamins that fortified milks supply. Consumers relying on almond milk for these nutrients need to consider alternative sources or supplementation. Pure Harvest activated organic almond milk retails at Coles for approximately $5 to $6 per litre. The premium reflects organic certification, higher almond content, the activation process, and clean ingredient formulation without stabilizers and refined oils. For consumers prioritizing organic ingredients and avoiding synthetic additives, the premium delivers genuine formulation differences. The Australian almond milk market reveals an industry where 2 to 3.5% almond content is standard, with products being predominantly water, added sugars, vegetable oils, and stabilizing gums. Marketing emphasizes almonds, while formulations minimize actual almond use to maximize profit margins. Consumers assuming almond milk is primarily almonds are purchasing products that are 96 to 98% water and additives. Higher quality alternatives with 8 to 10% almond content cost more but deliver 3 to 5 times the actual almonds per litre. When comparing cost per gram of actual almond content, premium products can represent better value than cheap products with minimal almond content. Understanding what percentage of almond milk is actually almonds allows you to make informed purchasing decisions based on what you're actually getting for your money, rather than on assumptions that the product name creates. If this information changed how you view almond milk at Woolworths or Coles, please like this video and share it with people who should know what's really in the almond milk they're buying. Subscribe to stay informed about what's in the products at Australian supermarkets. Leave a comment telling me which almond milk you currently use and whether this will change your next purchase.